Week 7 coming up. Big game. Penn State at Ohio State. Penn State at Ohio State. I think this may be the year right here, man. Ohio State, they're 4.5-point favorites. And let's get into that. What do you think about Penn State, Ohio State, Will?
I think we're in for a great game. That's what I think. So this is going to be a tough one to, I guess, predict. If I have to compare the two teams, I think Penn State has looked a little better all year long, just in my opinion. I don't know why they've been steadily ranked behind Ohio State. I mean, you give Ohio State credit for that win against Notre Dame, but Penn State's been doing almost exactly what Michigan's been doing.
Right.
I mean, they haven't played elite competition, but they're beating people down. You could argue Penn State has the best defense in the country. I mean, you could look at almost any defensive metric and back that up. I mean, they're giving up less than 200 yards a game.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Two shutouts. Well, of course, one was UMass.
Doesn't shut out to one else also Iowa. I mean, it's shutout to shutout.
Exactly.
So I think we're gonna find out how Ohio State plays against a defense even better than Notre Dame. Because last time they played a really good defense, they only scored 17.
They almost lost the game.
They should have lost that game.
They should have lost that game. Yeah.
If Notre Dame has 11 men on the field, they may lose that game.
2 plays. Yeah, exactly.
No, but again, got to give Ohio State credit. I mean, last week against Purdue, first of all, they're glad they weren't ranked number 2 overall. Because people number 2 overall going into Purdue, they don't come out alive.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
It's tough to really get a good read on Ohio State because, I think they who was their week 1 opponent? Let me see really quickly. It was Indiana. So that Indiana game wasn't pretty. And then Youngstown State didn't start great. And then Western Kentucky, they looked like one of the best teams in the country.
First quarter, yeah.
And then a defensive slug.
Well, the first quarter, there was, I want to say that Western Kentucky, it was first quarter was only 7-3.
Well, but then right before halftime, they exploded. They scored 4 touchdowns.
They exploded in the second quarter, 35 points in the second quarter.
Yeah. And then that tough game against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And then that game against Maryland. It didn't look great for most of it.
Right. First half they didn't at all.
And then a good win against Purdue.
Yep.
So it's going to be tough. But again, I'm gonna do like I did against USC. I'm gonna go bold. Not really one for half measures. I'm gonna take Penn State to win the game. What's it? You said it's 4.5 right now.
4.5, and Ohio State's the favorite.
So on a neutral field, they think it's a point and a half game. I think
on neutral field, I think they're yeah.
I think Penn State's gonna win. I'll predict it right now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's fine. I think. I don't know how healthy Ohio State's going to be on offense, and I think they're going to need to be very healthy to beat this Penn State team. I think Penn State's got a better defense, and their offenses are very different but equally productive. I think Penn State's a better rushing offense. So I'm going to roll with Penn State, and you know what? I'll be fun. I say Penn State wins by double digits on the road.
Wow, double digits.
Double digits. I mean, keep in mind, that is 10 points. 10 points is still double digits. But
yeah. Wow.
No one likes boring predictions.
That's awesome.
What am I going to say? Ohio State's going to win by 4 points. No. I'm picking Penn State to win by 10.
I'm going to agree with you on the Penn State's going to win. I think the James Franklin's going to get it done this week.
I mean, if they're...
Or this year with them.
If there has ever been a team that's been pounding on the door, it's Penn State. I mean, they looked good. They looked better for most of the game last year.
Let's face it. This year is the year for Penn State to put it together.
If they don't do it this year, they're not doing it.
Ohio State's arguably down.
Yes.
I mean, not arguably. You can't really argue that. They're down.
Yeah.
I mean, they're undefeated, but they're down.
Compared to what they looked last year.
And so they got to go to the time where they got to go to Columbus is in a year where they're up. Penn State.
They look good.
They look really good. And I think they got the offensive line. I think they got an offensive line that's going to battle with the offensive line at Michigan. Of course, they don't see each other on the field, obviously, but as far as being the best offensive line in the Big Ten, if not the nation, I mean they got they can put.
I mean, I'll give it to Michigan in the Big Ten, but number 2, I think Penn State is. Well, I don't think it's close.
I was going to go forward with this. They're going to Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
being up, I think, and then Ohio State not being as up as they have been, and then they're going to play at home against Michigan. So
That's going to be a crazy game.
That's going. And it's kind of bad that it's a November game because that would be a whiteout game.
It's a noon kickoff now. But
yeah. You can't play noon. You can't play anything but noon games pretty much in the Big Ten up there when you get into November.
I'll ask it to you like this: aside from that first half against Northwestern, when Northwestern had negative yardage and was tied with them, when have you been worried about Penn State this year?
I'm not even worried at all about them.
How many times have you been worried about Ohio State?
About every other time they play. I mean, the Notre Dame game, Maryland. I thought they were going to lose. I thought Maryland was going to beat them. Maybe too. I thought he was chunking around the field pretty good. That first quarter, Western Kentucky. And we know that Western Kentucky, Rupert Six, is very good.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, man, these guys are playing with them in the first quarter. Then the second quarter came along and they just crushed them.
Yeah, I don't think you're scoring 28 points in less than 10 minutes on Penn State. That's not happening.
And then you got first game against Indiana. I mean, it's Indiana. We're not playing basketball. And it's 10-3 at halftime. You're thinking, wow, man, what's up here?
Well, I don't like making too much of Week 1 games, but that goes to show you, hey, they played a good run defense because for all of Indiana's faults, they do have a good run defense. Penn State's run defense is even better.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Penn State's gonna win the game. Man, double digits. Whoo, man. That's a bold statement. Right
it sure is. And I'll wear it if I'm wrong.
There you go.
Fight me.
All right. So I'll pick Penn State to win the game.
All right.
So let's go next